Okay, I wanted to talk about the moon. I want to make you think. The moon looks like a sphere. If we just look at it, like through a telescope, you just look at it. The shape of it looks like it's a sphere. It does. And I know when I say some of this stuff, just because it isn't what we were all taught, it isn't the normal thing, you're gonna have like a doubt that comes from nowhere. So try to overcome that doubt, okay? And think for yourself, not what other people think and taught you, okay? I've watched the moon for many years. I've had telescopes for many years. And when I look at it, I'm just being completely honest. I don't care if your belief system is harmed or is benefited by this thought. It doesn't really matter. It's just something to think about. After looking at the moon, like when it's rising and then when it's setting, it gives me the indication that it's not a sphere. Or a couple things give me an indication that the moon is not a sphere. One of them is when it rises, and we see it over there, and then it sets, and we see it on the complete opposite side of the sky, and it appears somewhat upside down from when it rose. That would say to me that the moon's more like a disc or a plate, and we're seeing the side that's on the earth, or towards the earth. Just because of the way that it goes through the sky. It doesn't go through the sky like a sphere would go through the sky, in my opinion. Another indication, and this one is probably 10 times stronger than the one I just gave you. It's a lot more of something to think about, okay? And this is the one that a lot of people are just going to have a reaction to. Yeah, but we've known this that it's a sphere for so long. It's a rock in the sky. Try to fight against that. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you, but at least try to hear it. I'm in Minnesota. The moon is rising in the east and setting in the west. Rising over here, setting over here. So let's take two people, and we can do this, and we've done it. Take two people, one that's somewhere far east of me. Let's say the East Coast. Go to the East Coast of the U.S. Go to New York, wherever. And then another person, go out to Oregon or Washington, on the other side, on the west side of the United States. So you have 2 points. I wish I had a sphere in here, but I don't really have one. Okay. Let's say it's rising in the east. So it's coming from New York and everything over there. It's coming up. Now picture that it's a sphere, and I'm not talking about the Earth being a sphere or flat. It would be the same. And I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, you see a sphere, and I have to mention this too, that on the globe, if the Earth was a globe, then the moon, as the Earth rotates, the face of the moon is rotating the same. So, as if, basically, they say that one side of the moon is a little denser or something. It has more mass, so it's towards the Earth all the time. So that's how it goes around, so we only see one side of the moon ever. I don't know if you knew that. On a flat Earth, the moon just goes over you, whether it's a sphere or a disc, right? It just goes in the sky, rise in the east, set in the west, just like we see it. So, the globe or flat, just fine for this just what we're thinking here. So a sphere's over there in the sky, and it's coming up because of perspective. It acts as if it goes up, and then it's above me, and then I watch it go down and set in. I'm in the center of you guys. I'm in Minnesota. I'm in the middle of the U.S. So there's one person, we'll say Oregon, we'll say another person in New York, okay? So I did that backwards. So the person in New York is going to see the moon first, be rising up, and then I would see it. But then the person on the West Coast would see it after the person on the East Coast, right? Agreed? I think we agreed. When the moon's right where I'm at, right in the middle of those two, now remember, fight this urge to doubt this. This is something that I don't know why people, if you really think about it, the moon is not a sphere. Cannot be a sphere, because I'd be looking up at the bottom of it. The person on the East Coast is going to be looking at like the back of it, and the person on the West Coast is going to be looking like at the front of it, because the sphere is like this on the bottom. So I would see this one, East Coast would see this one, West Coast would see this one. Yet, in reality, take a picture of the moon from anywhere in the world, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, you have to flip it over, but the image is exactly the same no matter where you are. Take two images at the same time from East and West Coast, email them to each other or whatever, or Facebook or whatever, they're the same image. The moon is like, the way we see it, it looks like a sphere, but it's certainly not a sphere. Think about it. Fight that urge to doubt it. Think about it. Just picture a basketball in the room. You know, pass it over your head. Tell me how much of that basketball you can see. Just one side of it? Like the same side all the time? No.